Welcome back to Innate State. Russell, good to see you, my man.
Thank you.
Today we've got Siobhan joining us, and we're going to go into first our little meditation, as per usual. And we want people at home to join us, just to, even if they spend 5 or 10 minutes of their day, they'll feel the benefits. So we're going to do that first, then we're going to have a good chat with Siobhan and see what she's up to. All right.
Perfect.
So we're just going to do a silent meditation. I'll just take us into it, and then I'll take us out.
Cool.
Is that fine?
Perfect.
Okay. Let's take a couple of deep breaths. And just let your day go, anything that you've been thinking about and the stress, etc. And on each out breath, just allow yourself to relax a little bit more. can slowly bring ourselves out. Siobhan. Welcome to the Innate State.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers, Russell. I know I say this every fucking time, but there's something about meditating before we get going.
Phenomenal. That was perfect.
It just kind of sets a tone, and I think people at home probably think, like, what are they doing? Why are they doing that? But you can't understand that
Until you do it.
until you're doing it. Am I right?
Totally.
There's something about it.
Really dropping you into your, like balancing out your nervous system so that you can feel so much more relaxed. I felt really nervous when I started. The minute we started, I was like, wow, that's a strange feeling I'm feeling. And the minute, as we settled into the meditation, just relaxed into myself. And here I am.
Become more centered.
Yes, absolutely.
Like a kind of a, I like to call it a clean slate.
Yes.
Because often we, like, even like for myself, I'm like, oh, Siobhan's coming and this or whatever, or you're on your way, you know, what's going to happen? But now you're starting fresh.
Totally.
Which is a good thing.
Totally.
It comes from more of a natural place, an authentic place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have a kind of a spiritual practice that you do?
I mean, I would say my life is my practice. I'm a spiritual person, so everything that I do is for that. So being a yoga teacher and
which you do on a daily basis, obviously.
Yeah. So meditation is a daily practice for me. And oftentimes I will meditate before I teach a class for this reason. Because I'm standing up in front of a bunch of people and I've got to be centered and I've got to speak. And I'll notice that when I don't meditate or center myself, embody myself, a few different practices, breathwork is another really good one.
No, I enjoy breathwork. Yeah, very good.
I will forget my rights and lefts and I will, you know, forget what I'm saying when I'm teaching. But when I meditate, not only am I in flow and I'm teaching from a place of flow and presence, but also I'm channeling better.
Okay.
I can channel more, and all of a sudden I'm teaching myself as I'm teaching the people, and these concepts are coming through me. So meditation is really powerful for that for me. Meditation, breathwork, and then the movement. But I love to teach yoga. It's fantastic, phenomenal to balance all the systems and prevention. But dance is my favorite.
Why is dance compared to yoga?
Well, so for me, yoga...
When you say dance, like what kind of more ecstatic dance? Or
I love ecstatic dance.
I mean, that's one aspect of, say, a spiritual dance as such.
For sure.
But I believe there's a spiritual aspect to all dance.
Well, it's presence, right? So, I mean, what does spiritual mean to you?
For me, just being in the moment.
Okay, so spiritual, for me, it's like consciousness. It's having that consciousness. It's reaching a state of consciousness. So it's yoke. It's union of mind, body, and soul. For me, that is what you're trying to achieve. And so for those that maybe don't see themselves as a spiritual being, they are maybe a little bit disconnected to that.
Yeah, because they don't realize that there's that spiritual aspect within them.
Exactly.
They see themselves as whatever's going on outside.
Separate, right?
Yeah, a separation.
Separation. Yeah. So for me, it's like any practice that can bring you into that yoke, that union.
And dance can do that.
Dance is
our thing. We love dance. Yeah. We do a conscious movement thing.
I love that. I mean, I'm an ecstatic dance DJ. That is why I DJ.
Okay.
And I have been wanting to start a monthly ecstatic dance at Shibumi, and I don't know why it just keeps not happening. We've tried it and it's worked really well. It's been very well received, but you kind of need, like, I don't know what space you guys use, but I'm looking for like a big hall or a church indoor, because the weather messes it up.
Space is the factor.
The sound,
you do it probably outside.
There's all that outside space, and it's just not working. So I'm in talks with a really lovely lady by the name of Alexa, who is helping me to kind of get it to that place. And we've got one happening in April. I think it's the 6th or the 7th of April at Shibumi. And it's ecstatic dance. A little bit different to what I've experienced in Joburg or in South Africa. I practice mostly in London, and when I was teaching in Ibiza, and you go there and you don't really get facilitated. You go there to dance. There's not a lot of facilitation that takes place. It's the music that is designed to take you into ecstasy, and there's no substances involved at all. Not even really cacao.
And they don't do psilocybin or anything.
No,
like that.
nothing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a clean experience.
Yeah, it's about your own energy. It's your own. Yeah, your own finding your. For me, it's like when you dance, you're finding how you work and walk and move on the planet. It's your expression of, yourself, and it's using the different movements and the different elements.
But you're not showing people any moves, or are you?
No, not only just by doing it myself.
You see, because what I found is, and I have done the ecstatic dance. I've only done one, to be honest. But what I found is I like to, people don't always know how to find that deep place. People are self-conscious. So it's a question of allowing them to find that inner space where the rhythm comes through them. Which, if someone just, like says, pulls into an ecstatic dance, does that mean they naturally just going to open up? I don't know. Are they? Do they?
That's a very good point.
Everyone's different.
No, I
like you could. Because I
don't like to be told to dance with people.
Yeah,
that is my problem.
So
I don't like it.
So if someone's like super self-conscious, like to begin with, you know what I mean? How are they going to get that true effect of the whole thing?
There's a way you can do that where you stand around, you set the intention, and you explain to them, and you do a few movements, and then you start and you let them go, and people observe each other. So I've noticed that. I've done it with the women's retreats and the women's gatherings. It's been mostly women. We've done a few that was mixed, and it was fine. But like you said, it was with more experienced dancers. For me, when I go to ecstatic dance, I don't like to dance with other people. I like to just dance on my own. Storm and I, my partner Storm and I do
when
tango.
You say dance with others, like get involved dancing with them, or they dancing over there and you like?
No, as in
you just want to do your own thing.
As in like
in your bedroom.
No, I mean yes, but no. I want to be in a very big group of people, but where I'm not being guided to now. Please go and find someone in the crowd.
You need to interact with flipping.
No.
Okay. You want to be free.
I just let me dance.
Yeah.
And and so this specific lineage that I studied with a really amazing couple called Rao and Sophie from Bali, and I studied to do the DJing and also to do the facilitation.
I didn't know that was a thing.
That's huge.
I thought people were just winging it.
No, it's huge. There's many different lineages. There's another one called 5 Elements, which I did in London in a church every Thursday. It was amazing. I was at that time completely sober, and that was my medicine. Every Thursday night at the church, 200 people, I think there was about and you had to book otherwise. And I have a friend of mine out this week, and he is a huge ecstatic dancer, and he says there's about 8 a week happening in London at the moment, and they're packed. So it's huge. It's a huge movement.
We need to experience another one. You see, where I'm coming from, and what we've done with people is just when you can find a space where you can move into a trance state.
Yes. Totally. Yes.
And so we're showing people how to do that.
We're teaching movements.
But I think that is important, because you need to teach them that, and then from there
they can carry on their own. But if you're not showing them in the first place, like moving from a deeper place, so you start off with breathing, and you just slowly start moving a body part kind of thing. And then without music, and eventually bringing the music in. But music that, I call it riding the music, riding the song. You can get to a place your body is just dancing itself. But to find that place takes a bit of experience and loosening up and surrendering to that process.
Yeah.
So I'm actually quite intrigued. You're telling me about like people doing courses in flipping Bali, and you were doing it in London, whatever. I didn't know that was even a thing. I'll be honest. I used to do my own version of that, I guess, in a sense, Interesting.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's going to, and I think there's space for it in the city. And I know that there are a variety of different ones. Like there's biodanza, and then there's some.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah. And again, I love to dance. I do belly dancing as well, and that's what I do. at home.
That's
in my bedroom.
almost like the Kundalini
Yes,
dance
absolutely.
in a sense. Eh?
It's phenomenal. Fusion, belly dance, tribal belly. Oof,
I've seen it.
great.
It's beautiful. Eh?
Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah.
And poi, any kind of dance. Storm and I started tango, which has also been really nice. Dancing with somebody else is very different. That's the whole other ball game. Dance is what we do. I mean, we're dancing all the time. It's amazing.
But it's almost tribal in a way. There's a tribal element. There's a tribal element to dance. Certainly what I call a freestyle dancing, which would be more the ecstatic, which is what I like to do.
Yeah.
I don't like to be structured in a sense. I want to let the music just take me.
Do you ever go to the psytrance? Do you listen to
I have done them, no. That also works.
That's my
That also works.
That's my school.
Yeah.
That's where I learned how this kind of thing.
So you can like find those states sober as well. Yeah.
More so.
Yeah.
I feel like more so. I get way more out of it
than
sober.
Being
whatever else.
Whatever tricks there are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's way more fulfilling. You feel better, you connect better. It's and I think people are getting there more and more with not taking stuff and realizing that we actually have this in us. And breathwork. I did this breathwork with this gentleman by the name of Omji, where I didn't breathe for 5 minutes. And I didn't need to. I lay there. He's got this incredible technique. I've been doing lots of breathwork over the years, and this was the specific one where I literally just lay there and I didn't need to breathe, and it was 5 minutes, and he was talking us through it, and it felt like I had reached samadhi, so that bliss feeling, of which I've experienced through different modalities and shavasana and whatever, but that breathing technique specifically allowed me to just have a glimpse into that space of samadhi and bliss and not needing to breathe. It was very interesting.
Breathwork, I think, is also incredible. What I have also experienced, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this, is I've done a lot of workshops over, spiritual work for 20 flipping years. And the one workshop we went on was you were staring into a Sri Yantra. And the whole thing was, you like kind of brought your awareness in, awareness out. I went into full on Kundalini activation, just by staring into a yantra. So there are so many practices that you maybe, and that was in a sober setting, that was a workshop.
Yeah.
And it triggered, that energy just smashed through. So,
was it a good smashing through?
No, it was proper good.
Okay. Because sometimes
it's one where you were like, I'd like to do that again. It was like that. Yeah, no, you're right. It could go the other way. You're like, within 3 days, you're not like, I haven't come right, But so tell me, all of your yoga practices and whatever, what you said you do a couple. You're a lady. You got a toolbox.
I do.
A big toolbox.
I do have a toolbox. Got to keep me entertained. But this specifically with yoga, I would say yoga is my life's work.
Okay.
That is the thing I keep coming back to. I'm extremely passionate about teaching it. I was very fortunate to study in India. So I got to study in an ashram in India, in the foothills of the Himalayas.
Stunning.
Within the community, and drinking out of the Ganges, and really humbled myself a lot, and got to really live the ashram retreat life, which is why I like to facilitate retreats, because I want to just show a glimpse of like what I experienced at that time. It was life-changing for me. A lot of people take ayahuasca, they take these big plant medicines, and I feel like that was that for me, that time in that training specifically. But then straight after that, I went to Nepal and I climbed to the base camp of Mount Everest. So it was like a period of like, we're climbing that mountain, we're going to find out what's at the top of the mountain, and then we're going to bring it to my communities. And it was yoga, and it's children's yoga. Started with children's yoga. Okay. So after that trip to India, I moved back to South Africa because I had been living in Thailand and in Copenhagen, and I'd been living in London and just traveling around a bit, early to mid 20s, and I came home to teach, and I was teaching in communities around Joburg and in Cape Town and in all the different communities.
But mainly kids.
All kids.
At that time.
It was only kids. I started with kids. I didn't feel worthy of teaching adults at that time. It's a big thing with yoga teachers, where you feel a huge amount of imposter syndrome. Like, how can I be teaching this? Like, how can I teach this? You know,
Am I worthy?
Am I worthy of
Am
this?
I worthy?
You know, totally. It
Yeah.
was. It was a huge.
It
was
sure.
huge. It was a
Yeah.
huge and a lot, because I teach teachers now, and that is one of the biggest things that we speak about is, and we work through, is that imposter syndrome, because it is a huge thing. But actually, essentially, all you're really teaching is love, how to love yourself, and how to know yourself, and how to love others. That is the like really the essentials of it. So the kids just helped me to do a lot of inner healing, inner child healing.
For yourself.
For myself,
Yeah.
And that was essential.
Yeah.
And so I taught kids, and then teens, and then special needs. Also a very big one for me was the special needs, and
It must be rewarding.
incredibly rewarding. Yeah. It's the most amazing job in the world. I cannot tell you how amazing it is, especially all of it, but specifically the kids, and specifically the therapeutics of it. Because when you're teaching family yoga specifically, was one of them, where you're teaching, we do like a parent and a child.
Yeah.
And you watch how they learn to communicate with each other differently, and they have conversations. Like, for example, at the end of the class, we'll say to them, tell each other, so the parent and the child, whisper in each other's ears one thing you love about each other. And you just see this shift happening, and the therapeutics of the ways that they learn to communicate with each other and move together, and in a completely different way to what we've been
So do the parents
told.
join in that?
Yeah. It's a parent and child in combination, and then it's a big group of parent and children families. It's amazing. That's my favorite.
So there's actually a bonding that's happening there.
Huge bonding. Massive bonding.
And a healing as well.
Huge.
I'm sure the tears are coming as well.
Always. I cry every time.
But especially for parents and the kids, it's a big thing, eh?
It's huge.
Well,
but
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is beautiful. That what type of yoga? Is it hatha, or I know there's a host of yogas.
Okay.
What would you have done with those people?
So with that particularly, I run a training company called Wild Tree Yoga. We've just rebranded. Actually, it was initially called Children's Yoga Tree. It's UK based, but it's with my partner Emma Chavez. So the two of us have been running that since 2017, and we've kind of come up with our own. In combination, we've taken our different styles, and we've written this sort of technique, and specifically for family yoga, where we've brought in. There is, if you want to get into like the names and stuff, like a little bit of vinyasa.
So it's a little bit of a blend.
It's a blend. The kids stuff, the special needs stuff, the therapeutics. I trained with an amazing woman on acrobatics, a Belgian woman. And so we brought in some acrobatics because of the acrobatics.
So
and
it can
benefits.
Be fun for them as well.
Always
so it's not
fun.
just a question of like you're not getting your pose right.
No,
it's not about that.
No, we have fun. We play games. We dance. We sing. We talk. There's shouting. It can be very loud. It's not like your normal classic yoga that you see the adults do. It's a lot funner, and it's that inner child. You're bringing out that inner child, and you see the parents doing that, because they got to be silly as well. They've got to sing,
but
and
it's
they
a
dance.
Good thing.
No, it's amazing
because they parents. I know we must behave like this, but meanwhile that aspect is maybe dormant inside them.
It's been killed.
Right? It's been like destroyed as you were growing up.
Totally.
Yeah.
And a lot of our trainees say that the first thing that they experience is that silliness, and they're laughing at themselves, and the joy, and to be able to tap into that as an adult again, it keeps you young.
Yeah.
It keeps you young, that's what we should be doing, but we forgot.
But you're opening up doors between the kid and the parents. And like you're saying, especially with special needs, it can't be easy for them to depending on whatever the special need is with the kid.
Well, it
kind of helps to bridge it a little bit.
It teaches empathy, and it teaches compassion, and it allows each person practicing to learn a little bit more about each other from the same level. So there's no hierarchy, and there's no competition. So you take out that negative aspect of activity. You're not doing it right, and here I'm teaching you because I know better. Nobody knows, actually, because I know.
Because you're facilitating.
And this is yoga. And I'll say to the parents, you can't you don't need to tell the children what to do. That's not your job. Your job is to have fun with your child. If there's a need for me to tell somebody that they need to correct themselves, it's usually the adults I'll need to tell, because their bodies are.
You're like, what you doing, man?
Yeah.
But now you're still doing that, or you still do you still do this quite often?
Yes. This is my.
It's like your go-to, your main thing.
Yeah, this is my main business, like my life's work. I would call it that. Is training.
So you do you go to schools, or does everyone come to you, or how does that work?
So I have a studio, and we do privates, and so if people want to book, they can come and do privates at Shibumi. You were there at Shibumi in Kailami.
Stunning.
Otherwise, I do go to schools. I worked in some rehabilitation centers as well, working with the therapeutics is specifically what I really want to focus on. Working with children and young adults that might be suffering from addiction or from mental health issues. I think it's really important for everybody to do yoga, to manage their emotions, because there's a problem, I think, where people don't know. Adults, all people don't know how to manage or understand their emotions. And so the yoga really helps with that. It helps.
Like in what way?
Okay, so you are the chakras. Yeah. That is the philosophies that really resonate with me, and that has helped me to overcome a lot in my life. So I had a series of quite traumatizing events that happened to me, very traumatizing when I started traveling, and I went into a serious space of fear. I was very fearful. I was an alcoholic. I would call myself an alcoholic. I was drinking every day. I was working. I was in London. I was a mess, and luckily it was very short-lived, because I came home and I did this incredible festival called Cosmogenesis, where I did yoga every day. And I had already known that I needed to do yoga at that time, teach yoga for years, but that propelled me to now, you're going to India and you're going to do your training. And I remember saying before I went to this training, I was like, I don't believe in the chakras. I'm doing yoga because I want to stay sexy forever.
Sexy and supple.
Sexy and supple, and that is why I'm doing it. And I got there. In 24 hours, I went, oh, okay, I believe in the chakras. And this teacher is, she really, the way, her journey and what she had experienced and how she had come to learn about the chakras. Finding a book, her story was, is her story, but finding a book. I remember her telling us about finding a book that had been kept hidden by the CIA or something. This is story, but about the chakras and how we can use those to overcome our vrittis or our propensities. So each chakra has a certain amount of propensities attached.
What do you mean by propensities?
So, for example, lust or jealousy.
There's certain aspects to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they need to be healed.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, people think, well, this is my personality and that is who I am. But actually, no, that's not true.
No.
And a lot of the stuff that happened to me because I was putting it out there. I was in a variety of different spaces and I needed to heal, and I was putting it out there, and I was receiving something that was really not working for me at all, and I needed to change. And I, at that time, found yoga, and I worked through my chakras, and through that, I've healed stuff that, a lot of people would find it very difficult to do that. I was raped when I was in London, but 5 weeks before that, I had been beaten up by somebody that I'd known and trusted, and I was only in my early 20s. So I was very young, and I was
very intense.
Very intense, right? And now I've got to heal this stuff on my own. So first I did the alcohol thing because...
Well, that's more of an escape.
Totally.
Yeah.
And also I knew alcohol, and as much as I don't drink much anymore...
The alcohol is just like a balm on on like a gaping wound, which doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I mean, it feels good, and then the next day it's really bad, and then and I did that for a brief time, and that was fine. And it comes and goes, but it's it's just one of those. I'm Irish, South African. It's just one of those things.
But it takes time to work through those.
And it's a cycle.
Traumas. It's traumas.
Totally. Yeah. And also, it's trauma exactly. Yeah. And I decided. I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this affect my life, and I dedicated myself to sobriety and yoga, and the chakras is what has helped me
working
to
through them.
each of them all the time. I just cycle through them, and that's how I teach.
Okay.
That's how I teach adults and also kids as well. I bring them in slightly, the philosophies of it.
But that's not like all the stretching, etc. This is more on a philosophical kind of
well, this is where it all comes together. Yeah. Because
I think a lot of yoga teachers don't go into that.
No.
They're just more like about the flexibility and doing the yoga.
Yeah, which is fine.
This is the deeper aspect.
Well, the thing is, they're doing it. They just don't label it.
Okay.
Because what you're doing is, for example, let's work with worthiness, right? My biggest one was my solar plexus.
Yeah.
I'm not worthy. My low self-worth, low self-esteem. Now, if you're twisting, you're working with this part of you. This is your third chakra. You're doing different techniques. So, like, there's breathing techniques that you can use, like the breath of fire, Kapalabhati, or there's a Brahmari breath, which is a humming breath. Which, if you place your hands there, you hum into it, and you're calming your anxiety, because your anxiety comes from your solar plexus. It's your lack of worthiness. And so if you do the twists and the stretches, and so each class for me when I teach it is focused on a different chakra. So this week we're focusing on the heart chakra, and there's a lot of shoulder
opening up
and stretching, opening, and you feel it. You feel yourself, and you're focusing. You'll set your intention on it. You're visualizing the energy center moving, and you work on it, and you feel. And I also do Reiki, and I also add that into that, whether I'm doing Reiki one-on-one or I am making sure that I am clear, so that the Reiki is working through me as well.
More of a clear channel for the Reiki.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
through that, I managed to heal myself and have lived a very lovely life. It's been a bit intense in 2020, but in a few things, but it's been amazing. And I'm very fortunate to have found this practice, and that is why I teach it. And
you've experienced it, and you've worked.
And I've experienced it.
So now I went a different route, more through meditation and awareness, and doing workshops, etc. But not yoga. I've done yoga just more for the
sexiness.
Not really sexiness. More like I was like very stiff afterwards, and probably didn't do it again. But what you're saying, I find incredible, because I always used to think of it more as obviously there's a spiritual element to it, but a lot of people focus more on the physical. So if you go back, and so that trauma that happened to you in London and kind of led you into this path, do you think that was kind of your turning point? Because everyone's got a turning point that sent you into this angle, this spiritual path.
Totally. I mean, I think I was definitely always quite different. I think I'm very different and think differently to everyone. And then I did my first yoga class when I was 19 at the Virgin Active Gym in Lone Hill, and that lady told me I was going to be a yoga teacher. And she
was destined.
Exactly, yeah. She was an amazing teacher. She was amazing, and so I knew it was going to happen anyways. But that pushed me, that incident. And it needed to happen. I was naughty. I was a naughty child. I was a naughty young person. I was very adventurous. I could have gone in a direction that would have resulted in me being probably quite destructive to others, to myself and others. And I guess that was the path of, where are you going to go? And that, that incident, that it was 2012. Which is a very powerful year as well. And that was the time that it propelled me. And you know what? It was that incident, but then it was that Cosmogenesis festival. Because I was in that.
But it sent you on that path.
Yeah, it taught me, because it was 10 days, and there was a lady with a crystal, and there was a whole bunch of educational elements to it that allowed me to heal, to come back to myself, because I think I had really had a serious, obviously complex post-traumatic stress.
For sure.
And so called back, did a bit of healing, called those parts back in that time, and then sent me off back to London, which was, I left like 3 times and chewed me up and spat me out that place, but I'm much stronger for it, and I'm grateful.
So part of the healing, Siobhan, would you say it's also an emotional release? of those, like when you're working through all those chakras, etc.
Totally.
You're breaking through, I like to, which they call pretty much a pain body, when you have
Yes.
all those stuck
Yes.
emotions.
Yes.
And crying, emoting, getting that stuff out is where the healing comes.
Completely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think also the different techniques. Like at the moment, I'm working with a different type of yoga called somatic yoga. So I'm bringing that more into my teachings. And the somatic yoga is where you work with the senses. So it's a sensory experience, and it's a lot harder. I did an incredible class yesterday with a lady by the name of Kerry Weavend, and I have not been so stiff, and it wasn't difficult, but it was. And I couldn't believe how I felt yesterday. I was in this you know how you said the Kundalini? It felt like there was something that had happened. And today I feel great, but I am so stiff everywhere. I didn't know I was that
So what's
unfit.
somatic? What is that? What is so different about that?
Look, I'm studying it at the moment, and I'm still trying to understand. And I think that's actually what somatic is about. It's so easy. It's not complicated. So and everyone tries to complicate it, but it's basically just about embodying. It's about understanding to the intricacies, the opposites, like the heavy and this light and the soft and the hard. Can you be really hard, like really strong in this pose, but soften? Can you be really still and enjoy this pain that you're in? Because that's what you had, and it's like, I was like, I hadn't for a very long time gone like, can we please stop this now? Like, I can't do this anymore. And in being in that pose, it was an incredible class. So that is like sort of the next step, I think, for me.
Is that
in
what
my
you want to
practice.
incorporate?
Yeah. And it's also a lot more different movements. So it's a lot more flowy, and you can get into the body a bit more, because yoga can be quite rigid in the sense of like, warrior, warrior, reverse warrior, sun salutation. It is actually, especially the more ancient lineages like the Ashtanga lineage and the Hatha lineage, they were designed more for young males, teenage males, especially Ashtanga, and men. Women's bodies are different, and let's talk more feminine and masculine, because some men also like this embodiment, really getting into like the corners you can't quite reach when you're doing your vinyasa practice.
Okay.
It's very, very flowy, and it's very intuitive, and it's juicy. That's the word.
But it's ancient, or is it a more
I
contemporary?
think embodiment is a bit more contemporary. I would say. I mean, look, like I said, I've just started this course, and I've got a lot of books to read. And the teacher, she was on my teacher training in India, and she is an incredible teacher. Her name is Paula Andriewicz, and she brings in a lot of the philosophical parts of the ancient philosophies. And she weaves them into her practice, and that is her specific teaching. So there is an ancient element through the philosophies, but the movements are very contemporary. They're new age.
Do you also work with the diet and all that as well?
Oh yeah, I have to.
It's
It's
the
a
whole
full body. It's a full, but it's all body.
I know the
mind.
diet's quite a specific thing.
Well, I mean, the yogic diet, yes. I don't do that unless I'm going to go to a retreat in an ashram and I'm going to meditate for many days. Then yes, it's very beneficial.
Okay.
What
is that? Just explain it, because I mean, a lot of our viewers won't know what that. Like, if you say that as a diet, what is it? What are you eating? Is it more veggies and stuff, or what is it, a fasting kind of thing?
Well, so there's Ayurveda, which is the Indian holistic health, and it's what it's all about is prevention rather than cure. And it's really interesting because it's all about the elements and how each of us have different dosha. And dosha is, do you have more? So it's called vat. I'm going to use all the words. I'll hopefully explain this well. Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, Kapha. And what that is like, some have more fire, and some have more air, and some have more water.
Kind of in the
constitution.
makeup.
In your makeup.
Yeah.
And it changes when the seasons change and when you change in your age. And you can go get tested. So there's a test you can take, and it tells you what to eat, and that helps you to balance your constitution. But the yogic diet is the sattvic diet, and the sattvic diet is no meat, no chocolate, no coffee, no
All the good
mushrooms,
stuff.
no onions, no garlic, nothing.
That
You
sounds like a
eat
terrible flippant diet.
okra. Oh, it's awful. It's pretty intense.
It's
but
called not fun.
No, it's not fun. Look, it's not the funnest to sit in meditation for 4 weeks and
No, for sure.
I wouldn't
It's
say
not easy.
fun. It's not easy. There were moments of fun. There are moments of fun, but
Tell me something. You were saying you're doing workshops, retreats.
yes, I have a retreat in Botswana and in Victoria Falls.
Doing what?
So this is just it's a vinyasa. So I teach vinyasa, which is a flow, and restorative yin, which is very relaxed, and it's lie down, lie down, lie down.
So are you going there as an instructor, teaching people
Yes.
that want to go further and teach their own students?
No, so this is just for my students. So it is a yoga retreat. It's basically we've got an amazing company, Munga Plains, which is a lodge run by a gentleman by the name of Thierry, and it is designed for yoga retreats
In Botswana.
In Botswana.
Stunning.
And so we are going to arrive in Vic Falls, and then we are going to spend a night there, and then we're going to make our way into Munga Plains, and we're going to be it's Chobe National Park, so we're going to be doing safaris and
Jeez, it
walking
sounds like
safaris.
it's
And
like a fun retreat.
but that's the thing. It's like Western now. We do fun retreats. I used to work in Ibiza at a retreat center.
Sure, they
was
go
amazing.
jolling in the
No,
part-time.
we did.
I
Well,
know.
actually, they
No,
did.
Ibiza jolling.
No, they did. They did. I was very strict
Okay.
yoga teacher, but
But some of the
people
students
do.
must have. I mean,
No.
obviously. What
we
are they gonna
struggle
do?
with alcohol in the yoga retreats.
Alcohol.
Yeah, I've had to have. So I ran a company called Yin Yang Yoga Retreats when I was in London with the most wonderful lady, Louisa, and her and I used to go on retreats all around the world and have the best time. It was amazing, and one of the biggest issues that we had was people want to have fun, and what is fun is alcohol and
Smoking doob
yes.
or something. Yeah, that's
And
fun.
That's fun,
Yeah,
and we're like,
yeah.
but we want to teach you yoga, and we want, we're here for transformation, but they're like, but we're in St. Lucia in the Caribbean, and so there was that balance of like, and I can be quite, because of my background going to the ashram in India, I'm very like,
A bit
that ain't
more
happening.
strict.
Yeah, I am slightly. I had to kind of calm down a little bit, but. It is that, you can have a yoga holiday where you wake up and you do yoga and then you go and jol and do your thing. It's about bringing it into your life.
It's about a balance, maybe.
Exactly.
Like your mission isn't to go jolling. Maybe yours, Russell. And then, with a little bit of yoga.
And then some want to do a little bit of jolling with a lot of yoga, like, a little bit for
Maybe
everyone.
it's about balance.
Totally.
Obviously, you don't want someone to go out and drink a bottle of whiskey and
This
arrive
is
here.
the thing. There's
That's the
drinking
problem.
culture, and then there's having a couple of drinks. And I think what we try and do is we say at the end of the retreat, we're going to have a jaw. And then
Maybe that's
we have a
better.
jaw.
Sober retreat, jaw at the
Yeah.
end.
Because alcohol does
which
lower.
would make more sense.
Makes more sense because you're lowering the vibration and the work you're doing with the chakras
And
as
it's
well.
not the intention. You shouldn't be wanting to jaw
Exactly.
on a retreat.
You can drink
while
any
you're at
other
the
night.
retreat.
Exactly.
Go jaw when you're back at home
Exactly.
or whatever.
Alcohol will always be there. It will always
Yeah,
be there.
personally, I probably wouldn't allow it.
It's an interesting, because now
But how many days are the retreats? Like a week?
7.
Yeah.
Temptation is strong.
But especially when you're in Ibiza
When you're in the
now.
bush.
You're in, or you're in,
In
well,
the
in the
bush, you
bush,
have gin and tonic,
there's not much partying going on in the
You're not
bush.
a party, but you want your amarula, like.
You want to sip at it in the evening.
Yeah,
just
which
to
is
relax.
fine, I think.
Yeah. After
One,
hours.
it's
And you're going
fine.
to sit and do it during lunch.
It's
and then
when
go
it's
and do.
affecting because like we're there to work through the chakras. We're working through the chakras. It's deep work. When we're working on a retreat and the intention is to work through the chakras, we are working through your energetic body. We are cleansing the energetic body.
And now you want to go and
Now you
pollute
wanna-
it.
Exactly. And that's, alcohol, spirits, and, just, we don't need,
It lowers your frequency.
Totally.
It does.
Totally does.
But, it's not good for humans, I don't think, in the long run.
No. It's
I mean, you can have a small thing here and there, but it does lower your frequency.
Totally.
I think just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the one in Vic Falls?
So it's the same. Vic Falls into Botswana. It's the same.
Oh, is it the same?
Week,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go jump off the bridge then, do some bungee.
I think.
Actually,
Maybe the
I saw
Wide River
someone hit
rafting.
the water, eh? The thing
I
snapped.
think I saw.
But they survived, thank goodness.
Oh, that's good. No, I will not be doing any of that ever. Thank you. It's not for me.
So I think at the like I've actually chatted to Russell about this before. He's having this like you got the ayahuasca and you got guys who are going on mushroom trips, etc., etc. I think it just depends on what the person's after and what works for that person. Personally, my shifts were at sober awareness, and, like workshops, etc.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything of that nature, and it wasn't necessary. And you still had powerful experiences.
Yeah.
But I think there is a place for plant medicine.
Totally.
Some
100%.
people do need to that route does assist people as well.
Well, I had
maybe not everyone, but it's maybe not for everyone, because either is not for everyone, I don't think. What do you feel?
I think
what is your personal?
Combine the two, then you're winning.
Then you're on a stronger
yes.
angle.
Totally. Yeah. Because I did a mushroom journey last year with an amazing woman.
Okay.
And it really brought up a whole bunch of stuff that has changed my life, because I would never have seen that had I not dug deep with the medicine. So I'm a big supporter of mushrooms and other psychedelics. But
on a therapeutic.
It's a medicine.
Yeah.
It's medicine.
Not just to go to a jaw and because that's like a different experience. You're talking about going to a place, there's a proper therapist that helps you if necessary.
She
directs you or whatever
exactly.
the name is. There's a difference.
Talk therapy. There was talk therapy whilst I was doing it, and it was phenomenal. I called last year my turbo year of healing. Turbo healed because we tried all the different modalities, everything, ice baths, and I can't even name it.
Fire walking? No. I'm just joking, because we had a fire walking last week. Yeah. And we walked on glass, by the way. You brought it, Jane, to the studio.
Really?
Yeah. But it was cool. We trusted him.
No.
But
maybe.
Cool.
I mean, I'll try anything.
No, you will do it.
I'll try anything.
Okay, but what else did you do? You did the ice bath.
I need to write a book about this. But started with the ice bath with this amazing place called Namaskar, and Howard and Sonica, they run it, and I did a lot with Howard and I did a lot with Sonica. They were instrumental in my journey. I have had a few characters that have been thoroughly instrumental. I really want to write them all down, because I've forgotten, it was very busy here, but that started with them and psychology and just beautiful work that they've done with me, both of them, and cacao training with this Alexa.
So are you a cacao facilitator?
Yes, I am. I don't particularly do it unless I am doing ceremony. It's not something that I will do all the time. I love to make it, and it's delicious, and it's a very good medicine for me. It helped me to get sober again, because I did have a bit of a moment after 2020. It wasn't anything hectic. People will look at me and go, "What?" But it was every now and then. But for me, that's too much. I can't. To do yoga and do that, I can't. It's like I have to go through phases. So I've just been in a work phase, and then I haven't been drinking, haven't been partying, and then I'll go into another phase, and then it has to be that way for me. And so for me, it works really well. What we've said is on the solstices and equinoxes, when we'll do our psychedelics, and I like to do mushrooms. But one of my biggest medicines and greatest loves is ketamine, actually. I have had a very interesting journey.
No.
I've
heard of it, but I've never. I'll be honest, I haven't seen. I don't know what it does.
No, do you know what it's got such a bad rep here, and I understand. People really don't.
Well, it's a horse tranquilizer, isn't it?
You see, every time. You know what? I love horses. Horses is my spirit animal. I rode when I was young. It makes sense. I did horse
I'm just messing with you, but but it is.
No, it's true.
It is true.
What is it?
It's so interesting. It's a dissociative, but for me, what it does, as what I do, which is channel, is it separates all the things, and then I'm there. samadhi. So I call it the samadhi.
So does
drug.
it center you?
Yeah, so much. It's powerful. You know, it's not for everyone because I think what it does is it really triggers the ego a lot. The ego doesn't like it. So you've got to really have a soft relationship with your ego.
So if the ego is too
aggro, then
it's not going to be healthy.
You'll shake and you'll fall over. Like
you got to have done like you've done a lot of spiritual work. You'll come from a different angle from if you were 22 years old but joining back in London, be a different
totally.
Siobhan, a different Siobhan
I
over
would probably
there.
not.
It would not be good for you back then. What do you say? I mean, I'm curious.
I actually my journey with it started when I was in my early 20s in Koh Phangan in Thailand. And I had a very interesting relationship with it then, just working with it and where I was working, and then stopped when I left because it just wasn't around. I was sober, and I didn't need it at the time or would want it. Wasn't, you know, maybe I was drinking too much. You can't do it when you drink. And took a big break and then got back into it. And the way I like to do it is at home in ceremony where you sit and you set intention and it has been such an amazing therapy for me, therapeutic tool.
Okay.
Hugely. I mean, to be able to separate your parts and recognize, go, wait, that was totally, especially as for someone with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, where I was in, just to think about it now, like the space that I'm in now, the space that I was in before, this heightened space of fear. And you know, I'm like now always on the lookout. Where's the danger? Where's the danger? And to then not have that because, you know, you're dissociated from these, almost like, I guess, one, like, it's not multiple personalities, but it's multiple parts of you that have been created through these seriously traumatizing experiences. Depression was huge. So there was a time in 2020 where I being in London in 2020 during lockdown was one of the biggest, I can just mindfuck. It was absolutely mental.
Was it terrible?
It was highly, highly educating. It was, you know, we spent a lot of the time on the streets protesting and learning from each other about actually what was going on in the world. It was I don't know if you guys heard of Move 1 Million.
There was, at the time. There was a movement. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
a very, very good friend of mine was part of the admin team, and I helped her with that.
I do remember that, yeah.
I got to say a prayer at Trafalgar for South Africa.
Okay.
Educating. We stood in Trafalgar to educate people about what was actually happening in South Africa, corruption-wise and whatever. I don't want to get into politics or anything, but it was insane. It was a psychosis. We were all just so confused because one thing was being said and another thing was being shown.
It was such a, I know, it was a mess.
And to be there in like one of the epicenters was like, it was mental. And so I came home, which I had been trying to do for a decade, at the end of 2020 to Shibumi, which had been squatted in. So it was, my family have gone all over the world and there was squatters living in.
Oh, really?
And I came home and I built it up. Me and my little Ilanga, my little dog Ilanga, built it up, and a few other characters that were very instrumental in helping to build it up to where it was. And it has been such a journey. And that is why the facility is what it is, and we do ceremony there, and we have people come in and do different retreats of all the different types of plant medicine and whatever, and it has become this place of just absolute this part of my healing. It is my
and you
journey.
have the down temple, which we partook in last year, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
No, that was the third one you guys were at.
Was that the third one?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was inspiration behind the down temple?
That was coming home, the type of music. Okay. The inspiration started off, got home at Shibumi and, the few people living there and going, we got to have a jaw. What are we going to do? And then I met Storm, And Storm moved and lived with me and helped me to build the Airbnb, and has been extremely instrumental in my healing. Having him come in as that protector and has allowed me to, as the character that he is, and the man that he is, has allowed me to heal, to step into my healing and to step into my authenticity as well, and to be the person that I am, which I got a lot of backlash because I got a lot to give, and so I would give and I would get shut down, and I would give and he came in as like this protector. He's like the guy. Him and Bodhi is our little dog are the protectors, and then me and Ilanga are like the healers. Oh, and my little dog Ilanga she'll always be in the healing. Whenever there's a healing, she's got to be there. So she runs up and down. Where's the healing? She loves it. And he arrived, and we did, and our first year was being at Shibumi, and we would do a lot of healing together, know. And he's been on this journey with me. He's been, initially he was a bit like, there was one time where he said to me, like, you're like a little bit too spiritual for me. And I was like,
chicks a bit out
wait
there.
a minute, okay, let me pull back a little bit, and then slowly and together we've like found this amazing sort of flow, and it's been incredibly powerful. And so with him coming and being there, the music that we listened to was this down-tempo organica music. And been listening to it for years, and we found this DJ called Andara, and we were listening to Andara obsessively, especially when we were healing our relationship and we were really getting to know each other, and we were taking some mushrooms and we were listening to this music. We're like, what is this? And eventually we're going to throw this festival. We didn't know what it was going to be. We didn't know where it was going to be. We had come up with the name. It was called Rhapsody Productions. We've got a production company, and we said, no, let's reach out to this guy, because he's obviously in South Africa, because he said he had a mix out called Africa Burn. So we thought, no, okay, let's ask him. Maybe
he must be around.
Yeah, maybe he's here. So we sent in this long message. Hi, we love your music. Like, when you're in South Africa, we're gonna have this festival. Like, can you let us know? Like, how much would you charge? Da, da, da. And he replied. And we thought he was from America, and he was like, oh no, I'm from Linksfield.
I'm in Joburg.
What? And he invited us to his house, his amazing, beautiful house, and he's such a lovely man. And we went in, and he was also, so him and another gentleman, Don Wildman, and were both very instrumental.
I remember
Don
he's
and
also a
Brenda,
DJ.
Yeah, Don and Brenda were also very helpful. I saw Don playing that music. And then Brenda and him came over, and they were like, just do it. And we were like, fine. And then, because it takes a lot. It's like, is it going to work? Are people going to like it?
There's a lot to pull together.
It's very stressful to do an event.
Yeah.
Like, it was a lot, but it is our art of what we do, because the House of Extractions is Storm's business. So he has the bar there, and I have my yoga, and then the music, and we having a garden party like we do. It's like our life that you can come and enjoy.
And kind of just pull in and have fun.
Yeah, wholesome. And
nice people.
Everything is welcome within reason.
And I enjoyed the music.
Music's amazing. I mean, all of the DJs are so great, and that music is just the best. I mean, if it tells a story. It's journey music. It's the best for ecstatic dance.
Yeah.
And Don is an incredible DJ and is just amazing. And Andara is an amazing producer. And we're just and all the other DJs that we've been so lucky to have. It's very beautiful. But it is a lot of work, which is why we haven't been.
And I still remember, because we had Lawrence here and Dora on the podcast. And there were some interesting things he was talking about. And one of them I remember was also that it's not very popular in South Africa.
Very weird.
Which is kind of weird, because I think when people hear down tempo, they're thinking maybe it's chilled, it's a bit too slow or something, but it doesn't have to be. Some of it is really, I mean, you can flip and go crazy to that stuff.
It's slow. You can move into it. It's like, I mean, were you guys there for Andara's set?
Yeah.
It was wild.
No, I lost the plot there.
No, we were all wild. We were screaming. My neighbors were like, what is going on?
Yeah,
like,
someone's dying next door.
It was mental. It was absolutely incredible.
I was doing some screaming myself.
Yeah, we were all like,
and I was like, Andara, I want you. I'm getting your number from Storm. I was like so amped afterwards.
No, it's he amps us. He knows how to amp through his music and through his energy.
Yeah, that energy was crazy. And like, I also enjoy some techno, etc., and other genres. I do. I enjoy a lot of, I'm not stuck on one genre. But what I found with that stuff is it's so lacquer to dance to. And it's just, there's a rhythm to that down-tempo music. There's something that
but you know what?
some of it doesn't have.
What Storm said, and I thought this was very potent, was, because I'm always like, psytrance, I love psytrance, I love high-tech specifically, and forest and dark psychedelic music. And I was comparing the two, and Storm said, the psychedelic is intellectually stimulating, and this specific type of down-tempo, through the nature of its sound and is emotionally.
You think so? It hits you in a different.
It's emotional.
You feel in a different way.
Yes, and I think a lot of people have been quite untouched. What is the word? Not in touch with their emotions. It's a new thing. People becoming emotionally intelligent and like really healing, because you have to heal in order to feel, right? You have to feel in order to heal. You have to heal in order to feel. And so as we evolve through that, I feel like this music is becoming more and more popular. But I have noticed that the South African festival scene, love drum and bass.
I like some drum and bass. I do like some of it.
I just need to be educated more. I do know that, and
I don't love all of it, but there's some that I have. It's way more grinding. I mean, if I could compare it to rock, like going to rock music back. I was into rock and alternative music, etc. back in my youth, and I can compare that, maybe some aspects of it, the grind of it.
So I need to go, and I do get in trouble a lot for saying this about the drum and bass. People love the drum and bass, and
it's become super popular.
I have a theory, because I always work with the chakras. So each chakra has a different frequency.
It's bass chakra, eh?
It's bass chakra.
Russell loves drum and bass. No, he's big on it.
You gotta like it down.
You're right.
Go to a party.
I think it is more bass. That's the grind. Whereas some of the other stuff is more
heart.
It's more up.
I would say down, especially Andara stuff. It's very heart. I would say heart.
Yeah.
I would say psytrance is more.
What about techno? Like when I say techno, some of the techno I love. I'll be honest. Some of it I can go to Carfax and I'm losing my shit there. But it's a lot faster. But there is some of it that is amazing as well. So what do you think that's hitting? What is that doing? I don't know what that's doing, to be honest.
I would say the techno is more sacral. It's like it's sacral is sexual. It's sensual. I would say that techno could be a bit more, because it is. It's a very maybe deep house is a bit more.
Deep house might be a bit more sexual, because especially with the kind of lyrics or whatever that they're throwing into that stuff.
To be honest with you, I have been mostly just focusing on psytrance and down tempo at the moment, and so I do actually play a bit of psychedelic techno, which is really nice.
Because that's a crossover again. We're talking everything's getting blended.
It is. It's all blended.
I mean, there's
you can't
fucking
really
25 genres, you know.
25
it's
genre.
like stupid.
No, it is.
It's become stupid.
No, it's great though. It's it's so great, but it's I keep saying, we are stuck out there in Kalami, and there is just so much going on that we just need to also get out a bit more and explore. And I keep hearing Joburg is happening. I've never been
We sometimes go to Carfax.
I've never been to Toy Toy. I went to Carfax back in the day.
Carfax and Toy Toy is the same thing.
Then I've been there many moons ago.
Toy Toy is just a party that they have there.
Oh.
Then we sometimes go to the Techno Tribe parties.
Okay.
Run by Nick Greater. And so those guys they'll have psytrance, they'll have drum and bass, and they'll have techno and kind of a more chilled area as well. So it's like you can go from dance floor to dance floor. A lot of fun.
We need to get out
it's
more.
like in the grind of Joburg, which is also fun.
I know, and I remember this from back in the day when I was in that grind. It was amazing. The club scene and the vibe was amazing. And Storm is from Cape Town, so for us, I want to show him, but we are stuck in that place because it's very nice.
When there's a good party, we'll let you know.
Please,
and you know what you do? You Uber there. Then you don't have to worry about driving back. But but I'm finding I love music. All types of music, and so basically, what I've done a little bit of research on it. So music affects the frequencies in your brain, and that's why people, like you like certain beats, etc., and why you move to music. It affects the brain first, and then filters basically into the body. So the brain is dictating what's going on, which I find phenomenal. So what they did is they did a test where they put little sensors on people's heads and they danced together, and their brain frequency was exactly the same. So like in that space dancing together, there's a oneness that happens on the dance floor.
Oh, amazing. I
And
mean,
it's been scientifically proven. No. You know it already, but it's nice to hear that someone's researched it. But you know that when you're on a dance floor and everyone's flipping
going
on
for
the same thing, there's a certain unity.
Vibe. Totally.
It's quite incredible.
It's amazing. It's the best. I love that.
Isn't it? And that's
down tempo.
yeah, good question. Down tempo, Russell, man, get it right.
It's fine. I'm the same.
Tempo, similar. So when's it happening?
I think it's in
so
November.
Our viewers can book the date.
It's in November I'm not going to give the exact date. I think it's around the 13th, 15th, 16th. We're going to put out the dates now, and we are doing it at Shibumi. We did say we weren't going to do it at Shibumi because there are a few things happening at Shibumi. Roads coming through, etc. Like at some point in the near to far distant future, depending on
the municipality.
Yes, so we can't confirm or deny when that's going to happen, but so it's difficult to kind of plan ahead. But also the neighbors, we don't want to upset the neighbors.
Invite them over.
Yeah,
we have. We will.
But I suppose that music does go. It's not just the neighbors. It's like the neighbors 3 k's away.
No. But there's something about that
it's
area.
It's not just the immediate neighbors.
No. But there's somebody mentioned that they really like the lyrics of the one song actually on one of the groups. So like, I wish they would play it louder so we can hear the lyrics.
Are your neighbors? So do they either complain about you or they like it?
Yeah. So, and there was one time, the second one, where somebody in the area went, it's the down tempo, like going, I can hear the down tempo. It was amazing. And I think if the community could get behind it and see what it was and what it's about and see the wholesomeness and how amazing it is. I was really fortunate to have my mom there, the last one, and she saw it and she loved it. I felt really good because I was like, my mom's here, no one can shout at me now. If anyone has to come here, I see my mom.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, this is amazing. And that really was affirming for me because she's lived in that area for her whole life pretty much, other than being in England now. And I feel like the community could really enjoy something like that.
And I mean, you only do it once a year, literally.
Yeah, it would be nice to do it twice a year. That would be the best.
But I mean, like for someone to just chill for one night.
Yeah. Maybe, I think chats need to be had and at least asked.
Without them sending the cops.
They'll never send the cops.
You don't think so?
No, they're lovely. They really love. It's just like it's a respect thing. I would hate for them to do that to me. I've had that where there was this neighbor playing music loud every Sunday, blasting. And I went once in my gown and went and shouted at him. I drove to his house and then it's like, there are children. And so I guess maybe it's also a bit of like a karmic thing, I did it, it's going to happen to me.
Yeah. But it would be pretty cool for it to carry on till like maybe 2 a.m.
No, I know.
Or 12 even would be.
Look, it's exhausting. I don't know if I can handle that.
But you would start a bit later because you start early, eh?
No, I know. And it's hectic, you don't
12
know.
to 12.
You don't know how much. We start at 12.
Do you start at 12?
Yeah, but 12, if we could go, I mean, we love a party. If we could go all night and we could have people filling in for us, also working with us to help. But I have so much respect for the people in events after doing that because we do a 10-hour party at our house with my staff that already work for me in a safe space. I cannot imagine what it must be like having it at a venue at 5-day. What
There's
these
a
people
lot
do,
involved,
and it's what it's taught me is the events industry really needs people support these days. It really needs people to step up and go and support them and and just understand that, you know, if you're charging tickets, it's not because, you know, if you're charging that amount for the ticket, it's because we need that amount for the ticket, you know, not always jumping to it's too expensive. And because we had a lot of that, it's too expensive. And
there's a lot, I mean, there's a lot involved,
It's
Siobhan.
huge.
No?
It's huge. And the artists, I mean, you know,
They also get paid or whatever the case
I
may be.
mean, the DJs must get paid. The amount of work that you put into writing or coming up with a set, it takes me months. I know I'm new at it, but years, actually a year to come up with a set that I think is perfect.
They don't just wing it.
No, I mean, I guess some DJs will do if they're experienced, but still, you're standing up there, the level of stress and pressure that you have standing up there, presenting your music, being professional, they deserve way more than what they get paid. And I hope soon, because I know after COVID things took a bit of a dip, I hope soon that the events and the artists get what they deserve to get paid.
Because in general, do you think they aren't really?
I think most...
The internationals or etc., they're making money. Not all of them. I suppose the guys that are doing the big festivals.
I have been involved in like the London scene a little bit, and in being in Copenhagen, living in Copenhagen, and a little bit of the European scene and stuff. And I'm seeing a lot of posts and talks of different DJs and organizers who are also very concerned about the dropping of people coming to the festivals.
Well, I saw recently, I don't know how,
in Australia,
you can't trust everything you see on TikTok or Instagram, but there were a couple of festivals that were cancelled in the UK this year.
And there was now one in...
Was it in Oz as well?
One in Oz, and then there was another one, I can't remember where that was.
But I think maybe there's too many, and maybe they're just charging too much for those festivals. I don't know. I heard some of them are hell of a price. Well, anything compared to a rand is expensive, I guess.
I mean, you know, the festivals here, if you're comparing it to, you know, Europe and whatever, they're very cheap.
No.
But, you know, I feel like maybe the world has changed and people have evolved, and maybe it needs to be done differently. Like from my perspective, what I would like to see in the change in the scene is like a little bit more understanding of people that are sensory sensitive. So the visuals, like there's a lot going on like I'm quite sensory sensitive. So I'll walk in and my ear, I can immediately say, no, this is too loud. This sound is not right. I can hear it immediately. Or when I see it, when I'm looking, and this is the down temple is inspired by, you know, nourishing the senses. When you walk into a place and you're overloaded sensory, there's music here, there's drum and bass there, there's side trance there. I have to go and hide for a while. And that's also, you know, the dissociates really help me for that, because as somebody who sees a lot and who feels a lot, I am completely overwhelmed. It is too much for me. And it is at this time, especially now, spiritually, as we're evolving and we are seeing more and we're feeling more and we're hearing more, and a lot of people are heightening their gifts, which is the clairaudience and the clairsentience and all of that. To go into a space where that is not being taken into consideration because the festival organizers aren't aware of that, and that is, you know, fine. But I feel like that would really help. Soft textures, slower sounds, you know, which is why I
agree with you, because what I find is at some of the festivals, it's like I don't enjoy the visuals. I don't want to see any visuals.
Yeah, you want to see nature.
I don't want to get lost in the fucking visuals.
No.
For me personally, and people stand there and, you know, they get entranced by it and maybe they're tripping out into these visuals. I like the music. I'm there to dance. I don't want to be staring at a fucking screen. You know what I mean? So I'll go into my space and I'll dance in a circle. I'm not like, I can't stand there flipping just looking at the fucking DJ. You know what I mean?
I like to look at the DJ.
But like just standing like a robot, I don't know. Personally, that's not my thing. So like, I understand what those visuals are about, because they can, you know, if someone is on some fucking acid trip, he's going to trip out into those visuals. But I don't want to be doing that. I want to, my experience is an internal experience. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference there.
Totally, and I think it's
Yeah.
people are different. So
it's because
people are
everyone's different.
Everyone's different. So some people, I'll often go in and be like, "This is too loud," and I am the "this is too loud" person, and people will either boop, say shut up, or they'll listen.
If it's too loud, you're too old.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit old, but But I went to, there was one of my favorite festivals in the world. This is where Storm and I met, actually, was at Connection. It's a KZN party. And
in the Midlands somewhere,
it was in Richmond, this last one.
Okay.
It was absolutely, I haven't been to a festival that amazing in a very long time. I loved every second. Every second of that party. But their visuals, it was this amazing artist, and I can't remember her name, and she put hides, so it was hides, and then this really wonderful and amazing you see the words I'm forgetting, but what are they, where they
like a laser,
they project the lights onto it, like a laser projector, and he's an artist, so he's like an artist that does it. Okay. And he projected onto these hides, and then it was all wooden.
What do you mean by hides? Like animal hides?
Yeah, like animal hides. So they were like little circles of, like, if you get the chance, look up Connection and look at their
I know the festival. Yeah, I've never been, but I know.
Absolutely, I've never seen.
Was it incredible?
It was perfect. That was just like, even have goosebumps. It was just, it felt like you were in. It was Africa to its T. It was done so well, and if you're looking for a festival that takes all of these things into consideration, well thought out festival for me, in terms of that sensory experience and looking after their guests and looking after the people that work for them as well, which is really important. This Connection is really great.
Yeah, because I find I still like a certain element of, like, if the music's too grinding, you want like you don't need that to have fun. You can have the slower, maybe more down-tempo kind of feel as well.
I think it's a journey. So I think it's like, as you start slow and then you build it up.
You
don't
just smash it into like orbit from the word.
Yeah, exactly. High tech. Although I love high tech, but I also would probably, or just stay there. High tech. No, but like it's that like journey in between. It's like, but everybody has their own, taste.
Yeah.
And I think as long as what Connection specifically did very well, I thought, was they had their like more techno-y side of things, and then the drum and bass was there, and then they had the side trance, and then they had the down tempo actually did a takeover, and they had live music.
That's cool.
With another lady by the name of Cody who runs Earth Dance, which is also another amazing festival, Earth Dance. Also bringing in a lot of different elements and different styles of music, and bringing back the live music. And what was the point of this? I went off.
It was about the styles of music.
Oh, and so what was so amazing about this party's Connection is that you could go there, then you could go there, and you could dip in, and you could dip in, and then you could go like, no, actually, I need a bit of quiet.
Yeah.
And you go to my room, and it was very quiet there.
Was it okay? Wasn't like
you
you
weren't
getting
like overwhelmed. No.
Yeah.
So it was spacious, and and I think it's those kinds of things. It's also taken into consideration, again, the elements. Too hot, you need to cool down. Where is your water? Water is essential. The breathing techniques that can help you to, all of these different things tools that can help you, that are your tools for your party. The different, there's an amazing Sonda Sips by a woman by the name of Bronwyn, and Haley, I think, also works, and they do like a collaborative thing. A bunch of women in the scene.
Yes, we met them. She's the girl that does the natural juices and stuff.
Yes, the kombucha and the kimchi.
Yes.
Amazing. And they're now doing non-alcoholic beverages, shots that are there to kind of, and there's another guy also, Brett, and who also does it. I'm specifically thinking about Connection, where they make these different shots, and he does one that's like cacao, and then.
So it's like these little boosters instead of hitting a Red Bull, or whatever the case may be.
And bringing in that kind of stuff. So you're looking after yourself, especially when you're doing 3 to 5 days of jawling, having those nourishing the body, doing your yoga, and is really, really important.
Because I also find, and I'll just touch on it, is you can, if you go to a festival with more of that like an internal experience, you end up having more of a spiritual experience on the
Absolutely.
dance floor.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you can have a crazy,
Oh, totally.
you know, a spiritual, like, that's why you're screaming, fucking,
Yes.
like you're losing the plot on the dance floor because you're having a spiritual experience.
If you do it with intention,
know?
you will. It's like my church.
Yeah.
It's my school and my church.
It could be like a church. It's you know, it's not just about being there and I'm just having fun and I'm whatever trying to find a partner or some shit. There's a lot more to it, you know.
Conscious jolling.
Yeah, conscious jolling.
Yeah.
It's conscious jolling.
Conscious jolling.
It's a whole new world.
It is a new world.
It
But it
is.
is.
It's fantastic.
It is. So tell me something. Have you got any links or something that we can add onto this, like Siobhan, Shibumi, or I don't know, a website or a
Yes, I
Instagram or a something?
Share it with us.
I will share it with you. I've got a few. You can follow me on Instagram.
You know, all your little tricks, part of the toolbox, you know, just the labels for the... Siobhan, it's been stunning having you, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really amazing.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So
Thanks
much
for
having me.
sharing.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
It's been great.
Russ?
Thanks, guys.
And please like and subscribe now.
No, that was
You
great.
did well, man. It was
No,
cool.
it's fun.
That flow.
Yeah.
Hey?
Except that one
Touched
time
all
I
the
forgot
bases.
something. I forgot my clothing brand.
Oh, fuck. Sorry. Yeah, you were talking about...
No, it's fine. No, do you know what? If it gets big,
Then we can do it. We'll do
then
a
I'll do
we'll do a
when it
follow up.
gets
When it
big,
gets big,
then
you'll
we'll
do a follow up.
and then I'll
Yeah.
wear the outfits because that's what I wanted to do was wear the outfit, but we're not quite ready.
What kind
Okay.
of clothing is it?
It's for festivals actually and
Like
for
festival
yoga
clothing.
and it's like my designs, but my auntie makes it and she's
Oh.
the most amazing
Are they like
seamstress.
bodysuit vibe things?
Yeah, bodysuits. I've got a dress. I've got the Empress dress, which is like a skirt and a short top. I've got the Shakti dress, which I wore to my sister's wedding. I was going to wear it, but it's a bit wedding-y. I've got skirts. We've got an autumn dress, and
What
we've
is the
got.
brand name?
I think I'm going to just call it
Still working on
Shibumi.
it.
I think so. Shibumi Collective.
Shibumi is cool.
Shibumi Collective is the collective of everything, and then it's just going to be the Shibumi range.
Yeah.
So
Shibumi clothing or whatever
Yeah,
the case is.
Shibumi clothing.
Yeah.
And just keep, and
It's good to kind of keep...
everything in
I think
one. No, otherwise it's too much.
Yeah, it
No.
becomes too many things, you know? Hey?
Oh, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
That's very cool. I like some of the rave gear.
Female oriented. No,
It's going to be, there is male going to come in. It's just, we're going to make shirts for men.
I like
and
dressing up. It's cool.
yeah, like you want to, when you're at the festivals, you want
Wanna have a bit
to
of
see
fun.
good clothes, right? Like good, and you
wanna
want to
feel
feel like, and that's where it comes from. It's that whole thing of like, I am super sensory. I need to feel good, smell, things need to smell good, it needs to look good. And if that all ticks the boxes, then I'm sweet.
Or like sacred geometry
Yes,
sleeves
exactly.
and I kind of dig
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.